Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Master of Command. We're back here after having done the Rise of the Frederick campaign. And we're here for part 2 of the campaign. It's day 1. This time we actually have 140 days, since there's been quite a few updates since last. Hopefully we actually do have 100. I'm pretty sure we actually do have 140 days this time around. And yes, hopefully I have taken the time to learn some of the stuff that you have said, but also from just playing the campaign, not playing the campaign, well, playing the campaign before, but also playing some of the battles out of Rise of the Frederick campaign. So we have emergency cash. That's wonderful, because I think they're hinting about snow at the start of this campaign. I'm not entirely sure if it's like it's day 70 or something, it'll turn into snow. Probably not looking forward to it, as I imagine we'll have, also now when the army is growing, we'll have more of a problem with food, which was never a I don't think I bought any food, did I? Basically, in the first campaign. Anyways, we get some money, provisions, and ammunition. And then we head on here. So, one thing that I felt after the last battle was that we ended up in quite the pickle. In that I felt that I'd probably, in the first campaign really, I spent too much of first campaign doing veterancy over and over again. I should have probably worked more on making my army bigger, because in most battles towards the end, I lacked cavalry, I didn't have enough cavalry, and I didn't have enough cannons. I would probably say that I would have been better had I built the army in the beginning, and I think you probably you should at the first campaign, that you should build it more sort of bigger rather than, you know, I was building a very elite small unit when I really should have been building a larger block in the beginning. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and buy more of this, and I'm gonna have to buy one more there and put that in, and there we go. Right, so we have 2 cannons, and oh yes, I changed out a few things. I've gone ahead and corrected a lot of stuff before starting the campaign. One thing that I didn't do, which I see now, is no, I did that. One thing that I did notice is with one of the changes they made more of a sort of decisive change in terms of the musketry, which is one thing that the armchair historian mentioned in his video. And I did notice after that change that perhaps I'd done that by mistake already, but I'd given the Jönköping musket to my lights, my Fusiliers, Campbell, while the Jönköping musket, actually the cons for it, or the pro things, actually, the pro for it, is melee and charge, which is absolutely the worst musket that I could give the Fusiliers. The Fusiliers now has the Neuenstadt. I want to say Neuenstadt, I'm not entirely sure that's how it's pronounced, but now its range and charge and reload is actually low. That's also wrong. I think I probably want a Potsdam musket for them. One advantage is, though, the range. So they will outrange the enemy by about 10 points there. So perhaps that. But I think reload could be better to have, so that it's quicker on the reload. Because the accuracy is the same here. I'm going way into detail on this little thing. We'll keep it as it is. Probably as when I set this up, this was fine. Right. Oh yeah, I've completely got that. Wait, did I? Yes, now we've set it up. So everyone. So one thing people mentioned was that I should burn villages. One reason why I didn't burn villages in the first campaign, or the first part of the chapter 1, was that in my test run, when I set up to burn a village, it felt like the time went faster or something triggered the army to come. What I didn't notice then was that as the bug was, it said 140 days, but the army actually attacked at 100. So I thought when I burnt the village that I some sort of triggered some reaction from the army and it came sooner. So that's why I reluctantly, that's why I sort of had a bias towards burning villages, because I figured it sort of works towards something that the enemy will attack sooner if I start burning villages. So we're gonna go ahead and burn this village, because it's shit, right? The only thing, they're war profiteering, the bastards. So we're just gonna murder them all. Items cost here 15% plus. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and raid this place. All purchases, oh, now it's 50% all of a sudden. Huh. There we go, headquarters notified. So that sort of triggered, that sort of in my mind got me thinking like, oh, they're gonna send out their headquarters to come and get me. Coffee rations. Reload and movement speed. Do I have anyone that needs that? I think I have... You can get coffee. And then... You could also get coffee, just to apply it to some people. Reload and movement speed would be set for this one though, which has tea rations, which gives accuracy and reload. Which might be just fine, as it is right now, anyways. Right. And as I recall, in terms of people, I mentioned early on that I was going to name some units after random viewers that asked for names in the first episode. There were so few people that asked for it. I also realized that it's going to take quite a long time until I get 20 people. So, because I have 18 premium members, so it would be 19, which would be like the last unit of 4th Brigade that would be that. But the good thing is, because there were so few of you that actually named stuff, when it actually comes around, is the likelihood of you getting picked is very high. I should say that, if that makes any sense, because it was quite a while ago at this point. So we're gonna march along here. We made a lot of food from that. We may have a daily consumption of 14, but I started the campaign with like 225 or something like that. We made a lot from burning down the village. There's a shame that we can't burn it down twice. Right, so reinforced outpost gives me the Bayreuth. Baby Ruth. Is that the baseball player from America that they talk about? But I'm guessing Bavarian Dragoons, because saying Bayruthian or whatever is too hard to. Friendlies under siege, Your Grace. An outpost of ours lies encircled by enemy forces. March to the relief as one will face a tough field army. We get 1 artillery regiment, or we wait and strike when the enemy is weak. That will take 7 days though. But I figure that just fresh into this new second stage, I figure we'll be meeting pretty heavy resistance. And I haven't actually checked. We'll be right back actually. I haven't checked. Should be able to see the enemy headquarters, right? Where is it? That's just a big town. There he is. But now he has a little village around it. 16,000 men. Isn't that a Bavarian Dragoon? It looks like one. Okay, so we're meeting 16. That wasn't actually as much as I thought. I thought it was going to be double because the last army we met was like 10,000, I mean. So I thought we were going to meet 20,000. I only need another 6,000 men to come at the same level as them, which is not as bad, I think. We've spent 11 days. Should I spend... or should I risk it? I figure early on here. Gaining an artillery piece is pretty strong. We'll wait 7 days. Prussian field artillery. Love the colors. Blue and yellow. And we face an army of... that wasn't actually that strong. 7,650 men. The Battle of Vitto. And it is an army mostly consistent of Russians. Now they have... I was thinking, there's no way they're gonna have more artillery pieces than me now, given that they have 7,000 men. Turns out they have 4 pieces. They have 4 pieces of artillery. And they have 1 bloody unicorn. Those guys really kick your ass. Then they have 2 hussars. Surprise, no Cossacks. Russian provincial cavalry. So they have 4 cavalry, and then they have 4 cannons. And then just 4 infantry, wherein which 2, I was about to say 2 were grenadiers, but it's actually only 1 grenadier. So really, I need to expand. I said as much in the first chapter of this campaign that I should spend more on getting cavalry and cannons. Well, clearly I have a lot of cannons now since I have 3 units, but I need to spend more to get the cavalry up and running as well. But enough talking, let's go ahead and fight this battle. The Battle of Vitto. Right, and here is the battlefield. So the enemy is heavy on cannons. 4 units of cannons. I did notice this artillery piece has a range of 500, which is the same, almost as much as mine, which actually I have specifically gone ahead and reorganized everything within the army units, so I've tried to optimize stuff as much as possible. So this one is 495. I will outrange him, I guess, if I go up on a hill, which would be great. Now, in terms of my plan, now I don't want to rush in to get absolutely hammered by his artillery, so my plan is to allow him to come closer to me while I bombard his early units to take a little bit of pieces out of his infantry, soften him up, and then I will do what I planned to do in the last battle, if you remember, which was I will have I split my force. We'll have 1 force around the cannons here, and then they will make a line and advance towards that so they can fire on it, and then I'll have a secondary line that'll come in through here and strike them in the flank, and so I'll kind of pinch this side and drive them off. That's the plan anyways. The new piece of artillery here, perhaps I should have named it before. I couldn't actually name it before I went in. I'm not entirely sure who is up in line to get this piece, but yeah, we'll see. Also, yeah, I think it was the Hios. Was it Hios or was it Jipilu that wanted to be command of grenadiers? Or like he wanted to stay in as a brigade commander, but he wanted to be attached to grenadiers. It's a little bit that I'm attaching the brigade commanders to like active units, as it were. Like I'm putting them on fusiliers, easily overrun by cavalry and then just absolutely killed. And then grenadiers, which is going to be a unit that is going to go into the fight more than others. So we're going to have these units stay in defense here. Actually, perhaps a fourth. Or should I think I would need... or... what I'll do... because James Stewart is stronger, I'll pick some weaker units. And then... Sobakorn is definitely a strong unit. So these three... and then Ned's... yes, Ned is not that strong because he's a Freikorps. And they've yet to be upgraded. And then Berlin Badger. And then I think I will need the lights just to kind of draw the attention of the cavalry charges. Which seems like a bad idea, but that's what we're going to do. And then Wyatt will be attached as a go-between in here. And then Lindström will also be in a go-between position with my hussars under Lefray being part of the attacking group. And then the king will be to support the artillery because they have low morale. And that's how we start. And we're going to set up on the hill. So this, of the three units, Wyatt is a stronger one. Nedselms and Berlin Badger is the weaker units. So we'll set up there, and then Lindström kind of back here. They are not taking the bait. They're actually moving towards what I would like to call my stronger flank. I'll still move it up in preparation of the advance. I think the enemy will change their mind once they start to take hits from my cannons. So their infantry is now currently facing that way, but as soon as my artillery goes in, I think they'll change their tune. Also, I think that GMT and the second piece of artillery should actually head a little bit more to the side, because since they have lower range, I figure I might have to move them off the hill and move them closer to the enemy. Right, the enemy is within range, but they're within extreme range. The chance of me hitting anything at this range is quite low, I imagine. Right, we have a 3-pounder gun, not very dangerous. We have the Unicorn, or the Lycorn, which is dangerous because it has... actually, the shot damage has been reduced. Oh yeah, now I remember. Well, that was part of the update, that the artillery piece, or the damage for the different artillery pieces has been reduced, or it's been moved closer, I believe. So there's not that big of a difference in between them. So I think ours before were like 40 for a 12-pounder. It's now down to 35. Right, their piece of artillery is setting up. Their Geweinerstrucken Glucken cannon is setting up. I am more interested in shooting at the enemy's infantry than I am at shooting at his cannons. We took a pretty heavy hit. 37 men, not as bad as before. The enemy is starting their bombardment. They're also starting their advance. I'll meet them. Oh yeah, I completely neglected to deploy these two guns. Also, now the enemy is kind of heading out of the way of the artillery. But again, I'm more interested in making a real dent in the enemy's line infantry, more so than they're trying to break down the cannons, because I haven't had luck in doing that. Something to keep in mind as well is, of course, the stamina, which I talked about in the historical battles. That the AI usually... oh crap, Campbell is outrun. I'm talking too much. Campbell outran the infantry support. Perhaps here what I should be shooting at is the Russian dragoons. Right, they are really hammering Ned, which at this point has lost 215 men. We've taken 135 out of this unit. Look at the gap which is opening up here. Although marching into this artillery fire is a harrowing task. Right, the Hussars, they move fast, so they'll get into that position quickly. Right, he's turning to face us. And that is when we start pushing everything in. Right, you have no negative effects due to stamina as of yet, but that might still come. I figure I should actually bounce some shots towards that just because I want to break up a little bit of the enemies. Also, you should probably not be... Ned should probably not be the first one to march into enemy fire. Also, I will tell you to hold fire and turn. Sobakorn will be expecting an enemy attack on his flank. Meanwhile, the rest of the troops will hold. Right, so now I'll have 3 units facing off against this one. Meanwhile, oh, they're turning their cavalry back to here. I guess they realized what is kinda going on. I don't like this unit. Why is he able to fire at such a 142? He's firing at great distance compared to me. Oh, Ned is falling back here, which is not great. Once this unit fires. Okay, so I am gonna have to fire here because they don't seem to be able to make up their mind. Lindström is gonna make an attack here now when they've fired. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to break this one. The smaller cannons will turn towards that. You will continue to harass that. Lindström is now coming in. I'll speed him up a little bit. And then slow him down. And then order to fire at will. The enemy is maneuvering while under fire. And they're just about to take another fire from the frontier. I'm not gonna pursue them with the cavalry. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to advance these lines. You just started your volley process, so I'm not going to do that just yet. And then we're going to do the same here, where Lindström again is going to attack here. Here he is going to follow up his attack. Ah, look at that. They are preparing for a charge. Yes. Oh, they were broken even before Lindström arrived. And now, arrange the troops. Here they come. Now I've told Majovsky to hold his fire. And Campbell will retire. He will also hold fire. Allow them to tire out themselves. Majovsky, you are free to fire. To check the map on the enemy cavalry as well. Good fire. I will turn up James Stewart to fire on the enemy. Meanwhile, the enemy is getting fired upon here. I will tell my hussars to move out. They are retreating. My hussars will open fire. They are calling the charge. Sobakorn will be ordered to attack. Oh, so Berlin Badger was forced away. Right, now both units are being forced away. I want to shoot down this unit, goddammit. Hold your damn bloody well fire. Damn you. I want the hussars to break these two. Oh, they're going straight for it. Fire at will. Lindstrom, fire at will. That was bad timing, and Lindstrom takes a heavy hit from that. Russian hussars barely hold on, unfortunately. Bad timing, and now James is being attacked from both sides, which is not great. However, they were broken by that. I'm hoping here that Campbell can aid a little bit. And I'm just going to tell my hussars to charge into that and force them away a little bit. Now, can I get you two into line? You should not actually be moving like that. Okay, now you guys are tired. You should hold fire. Actually, because we are in need, I will order the smaller guns to fire. But I'll tell the larger guns to hold. No, goddammit. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm saying. Right, we broke him. And forward. Let's see if they gather stamina here. And meanwhile, the entire army is now moving forward. You should also slow down. God damn it. Oh, Lindstrom did not recover. He is going off the field, unfortunately. The enemy looks like they're about to break. I should actually tell my artillery to fire at will, even though their fire is not going to be as effective as they would be normally. Oh, did I tell you to run? That was not good, especially since there is potentially an attack coming on here. And I will tell you guys to hold as well, because you're quite tired. Here comes the hussars. They are more or less broken though. I should have turned that on beforehand. Boom, victory. Oh, their artillery just ran as soon as the other troops ran. Right, let's go ahead and take a look at the statistics of this battle. I figured we could have done better, but we did pretty good. A lot of gold, 532. We gained really good Potsdam musket. I'm gonna give that one to the lights. Gunner implements. We gained a lot of good stuff here. A lot. Right, so one thing that I did do though is I lost a ton of men. 2,000 men lost compared to the enemy's 4,000. One thing that I did note, which is in the new update, is you should not pursue and kill as many as we did. The hussars should have been stopped earlier on. What I wanted to do was just to chatter those two units so they certainly wouldn't come back. So I should have recalled them sooner rather than allow them to continue to slaughter their way through the retreating troops, which mean that I would have more captured enemies, which mean that I would have made more, like, it would have been better for them, for that. It's set up now, basically, that it's better to take captured enemies than to slay them. So that was a mistake, and then, of course, the micromanagement around Lindstrom, or the Jutland Dragoons, didn't go too well. I think they lost, looks like they lost half the unit and only killed 94 men. I mean, early on, good with, you know, putting that extra power into flanking and destroying them. It was just missed timing there with the enemy cavalry attack. Right. As per what I'm going to choose here, I think that reservists we get now, I believe that's been upped. Now we purchase 500 in towns. They've also increased the amount that it costs, but it's not actually costing me that much as before, I don't think. So I wonder if... I don't think veterancy is a good idea right now. I think either it would be this, because 15% of my casualties restore out of 2,000. That's what, like 20 to 50 men or something? What is it? 10% would be 200. So like 300 men plus then 1500. That would basically make it so that I would be able to replenish it completely. The thing that I'm thinking though is getting the money and getting the ammunition, because with that money, that money right there, I think I would be able to buy like 1,000 troops, so I could replenish half of that just on that money, plus the amount of ammunition is ammunition is costly, and we used up a lot of ammo. It's a shame that it doesn't actually say how much ammo we used, but I think that's a better idea. So we had a couple of units upgrading, obviously not as much as we're used to because I didn't choose veterancy. But now, if I want to replenish the ammo here, it basically took everything, and ammo is quite expensive. And then as I replenish my troops, unfortunately we didn't have enough, so we're still missing like 1,700 men. Now what someone said was, you can actually go ahead and do this, and you can put, you know, reservists where you want them. So the two units that I could see about not keeping at full strength would be Berlin Badger and Ned Selmas, and actually putting some of those to make sure that the cavalry, which is actually a strong unit, to have them at full strength, and then kind of going half-seas on these two to bring up the reservists there, something like that. Boom. And then, of course, we got a Jipilu, gained a point here. So this is the cavalry brigade. So what we want, stamina recovery, and speed, that's pretty darn good. Melee damage received and veterancy gained, that's also pretty good. Eager movement movement speed, but stamina loss for eager. I think agile is probably the best choice in this case, because stamina recovery is very important for cavalry, and also the fact that we get even more speed is pretty good. And we already have stubborn, which gives charge, cover efficiency, but like we can't boost cavalry's points in that way anyways. Right, so what I want to give you, the Potsdam musket. Is there anyone that still has like a... Yeah, you have a war musket, so you get that then. And then gunner implements, 10 plus reload. Obviously this goes to you then, because you have the highest reload at 48 seconds, which is now reduced to 46 seconds. So we reduced it by 2 seconds, which isn't a lot, but it might be a lot when the right time comes. And then this implement is basic. I guess we give it to the new cannon, right? And then I guess we will move James Stewart then over here, and then move you over here. Now anyways. Berlin Badger has 2 points, which means he can be a Lend-Lease, but that I'm not interested in that. The Hussars, no points for that. Dragoons, they need 1 more point to become Prussian Dragoons. Is there anyone else that gained anything to the point of being... Ned actually has 3 points, which can either make him a Freikorps Provincial Cavalry or Freikorps Musketeers. I wonder how Freikorps... What's the difference between Freikorps musketeers and a regular musketeer unit? Because is the best thing to move the Freikorps towards Freikorps Grenadiers? It would be either Grenadiers or Freikorps Jägers. Is Freikorps Jägers better than normal Jägers, or is it just... Because then we might actually have this unit go towards cavalry, because cavalry is what I need. Regimental size, it'll reduce the regiment's size quite a lot. Oh, and that will give me, actually gives me points to... Yeah, you know what, I think we'll do that. We'll gain another cavalry unit. Right, so that changes a lot of your stats, of course. But then we can move you over into this brigade. So now it becomes more of a full-fledged cavalry brigade. Now we should have saved some swords. And obviously at this point movement speed and stamina increase is not that great. Reload, you don't have anything to reload. Military treaties, reload and max range. That is something for this piece. But I'm looking at this, and I think we're closing in on an hour. So I figure that I should end it rather soon, and then I'll figure out all this. Hussar Saber is something that you need. There we go. That was pretty easy. Horseshoe, good. I'll see. He will gain a lot of stuff, and then I'm probably put this towards this piece as well. Figuring that out. Should perhaps avoid going into battle then, but we can proceed towards the town. What is going on at the fort? Entrench around the fort. Begin to lay a siege. The fort's redoubts are unmanned. Small fort. I figure we'll come back to that once we've actually hit town. So the town... Popular support! Oh shit. I don't think I can have the time to fit another battle into this video. Did we fully recover our strength? No, we did not. And also, I did not press all the... Oh, now I did. Right. We'll buy that. So 40. That's actually cheap. That pushed me almost to full strength. Another one and pushed me to full strength. I will organize this. I do have enough money now to open a new brigade. But I don't have any more money to actually... go ahead and... I would actually probably have to see after the battle. One thing, yes, before we go, some of the stuff that I did notice here, which is something I probably neglected in the first. I noticed these regimental staff chaplain, casualties restored 20%. That's massive. And that for like units that take a lot of hits, that's like a huge thing to put those in the units. And I think I overall neglected all of these kind of treatises, or the fact just going to the staff college and getting stuff there. Now that artillery pieces are not really there's not that big of a difference in between them. I'm not that concerned about upgrading those pieces as of yet. But yeah, I think here in between episodes, oh, they can actually recruit cavalry here, better or more, I should say. So we have 2 Prussian hussars. They're pretty expensive though. I couldn't field them anyways because also, I'm going to have 2 hussars because the Freikorps is going to go to hussar. So I should have like a dragoon unit, perhaps going towards heavy cavalry for the second one. and have that as a countercharge unit behind my lines as defensive, while the Dragoon works as I've worked Lindstrom, and then the Hussars will be more fluid in moving around, chasing down the enemy. Anyways, I think that what I'll do is I'll go ahead and try and optimize all of this stuff. Perhaps then by next episode I will have opened, just perhaps paid the money to open this. Or actually not, I should probably save that to after the battle. But I will optimize army units. I will name the cannon, the new cannon. And that will bring us up to 15, which means there's only 3 more premium members. And then I will start to put in those guys who put their names down in the first video. So there'll be there'll be 2 of those being put into 4th Brigade once 4th Brigade is filled out. Right. But I think I'll leave you with that for this video. So I will optimize. And with that said, I will say, like I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.